Today I'm sharing with you 4 easy, delicious foil pack meals you can make in your oven. These are great for easy cleanup. You can even make these on the grill if you'd like. And I'm going to show you quickly how to put these together. The first one is a marinated sirloin steak and potatoes. And for this, I'm just using a sheet pan, and I'm going to use some foil and just cut those into strips where I can, big enough to put the meat in. But this is sirloin steak. It's like the thin type steaks you can get in the store, and I'm using this KC Masterpiece Steakhouse marinade. And that's what I did overnight. I just put the meat in there, cut it up, and let it marinate. Now for the potatoes, I'm just using red potatoes, and I did parboil these so they would cook faster in the oven. I know that's an extra step, but it's so worth it because a lot of times I find they don't cook when you just put them in raw. So I'm just taking and putting the meat on first. And then I'm going to put this Kinder's, it's a buttery steakhouse seasoning. This is really, really delicious. If you have not tried this one, you need to try this one. So I'm just adding a little bit more. Even though that's marinade, I wanted to add a little bit more. I'm going to add some potatoes on. And you can absolutely mix these in a bowl if you want with all of the seasoning and everything. I just prefer to do it this way. It might take a little bit longer, but I'm okay with that. I'm taking some avocado oil, and then I'm going to spray the potatoes so that way the seasoning will stick to it. But I also don't put it in a bowl because these are parboiled, so I don't want to break them up too much. I'm just adding some garlic powder to these, and then some pepper. And I'm also going to add that buttery steakhouse seasoning on it as well. This is really, really delicious. So once I get all of that done, I'm going to take 2 pats of butter and put it on the potatoes just to give it a little bit more flavor, and it also get into the steak as well. And then I'm just going to tightly wrap these up, and this is just the way I do it. So just make sure you get the middle and the ends tightly wrapped. And the tighter the better, and then nothing will leak out and you won't have a pan that you have to wash. So that's really great about these foil packets. You can either eat them out of the foil if you want to put them on a paper plate and eat them out of the foil like that. Or, like I said, I usually just put them on a plate and I don't have that pan to clean. But I'm going to do the rest and just continue on just as I did before, seasoning those potatoes, putting a little bit on that steak. And this, like I said, was really, really a good meal and just a very simple and easy idea for supper. But you can also, like I said, if you want to take these for camping, you can do that as well. And just continue to roll those up. And then once I get them all foiled up on the pan, I put them in the oven on 350 until the potatoes are completely cooked. That meat doesn't take very long at all. And as I said, you can eat it straight out of the packet if you want, but we like to cut our meat and everything up, so I put it on a plate. But I did not have to clean, the pan that I cooked it on. So that was great. And it's just the dishes go straight into the dishwasher, so really I'm not washing anything by hand. But you can see those potatoes, how crispy those are, and then just some broccoli and cauliflower. The next one is sausage, peppers, and potatoes. And this was real easy. I do these usually on a sheet pan, and of course you'll have to clean the sheet pan if you do that. But for this, I'm just going to use this Cajun style sausage, and we love that. And my grandson's going to have this one, which is the green onion sausage, and we love that one as well. But I cut up some for him because it can be a little the other one can be a little spicy for him. Then you want to parboil your potatoes again. Like I said, it's an extra step, but it's worth it. And some fresh green beans, and I just cut those up into smaller pieces, took the ends off, and I just cut up some bell peppers, so yellow, orange, green bell peppers, and the red onion as well. So just anything you can put into these. It doesn't have to be exactly what I'm doing, but you can put any veggies if you want. And then I'm just going to mix all of these up and put some seasoning into this just to give it a little extra, seasoning, extra spice that we like. But you can absolutely do this with any veggies that you want with the sausage. So I'm going to add some of this New Orleans Cajun seasoning that I like. And then I'm going to add some garlic powder. And just toss it around a little bit. And then I add a little bit more as I go. You want to just coat everything. And I also, on the green beans, I like this raspberry vinaigrette. So I'm putting some of that on it and just tossing it around a little bit to give it some flavor. And then I'm going to add some minced garlic to this as well. And that adds a little bit more flavor to it. And a little bit of garlic powder and onion powder. And just toss it around. Just make sure you get it all coated really evenly. The potatoes, I'm going to add some of this avocado oil to it and spray it on. And I'm going to season it with some onion powder and some garlic powder. And just try to toss it around a little bit. I don't want to break them up too much, and I just continue to add seasoning as needed. And then I take a sheet of aluminum foil, put the sausage down first, and then I'm going to add the peppers and the onions on top. And then I'm going to add some green beans. So this will make one whole meal. And then the potatoes. So you have a complete meal in this particular foil packet. I'm going to add some of that Kinder's Buttery Steakhouse seasoning. We really do love this on the potatoes. And you'll find that a lot of these are going to be have potatoes in them, but I just chose to do that that particular week because we just, sometimes that's just what you have a craving for. So it's, we're a meat and potatoes kind of family, so that's what we had. And it's inexpensive, to buy your bag of potatoes and just, use them throughout the week. So I put those on a sheet pan. I'm going to put this in the oven just to cook those veggies down. Make sure that the green beans get cooked and the bell peppers and the onions get softened. And then this is what it looks like when those come out. And you can, like I said, eat this straight out of the packet if you want. I just chose to put it on a plate. But like I said, the sheet pan was clean. Didn't have to worry about that. And just threw those packets away. But this, I also find, it's just cooking everything in one way, one vessel, I guess you can say, instead of having to use several pans for it. But we really enjoyed this one. It was really, really delicious. This next one is a Santa Fe chicken. It's a rather healthy meal, I would say. And for this, you're going to need 4 chicken breasts. I decided, I usually cut those in half, and then I would cut it, to make it thinner. And I would cut it to make it into 2. But I decided just to butterfly it instead. So it's, larger pieces. And this actually makes a really nice meal. Very filling. So I have 4 chicken breasts that I butterflied, and they're thinner, but also some Mexican 4 cheese, 2 cups of any type of corn. I'm using Mexicorn because I just feel like that would go well with this, but you can use frozen corn or fresh corn, whatever you want, canned, anything. And then you need 1 cup of chopped bell pepper, and I just chose to do a little bit of red and a little bit of green just to add some color to it. Then you will also need a can of Rotel diced tomatoes and green chilies, or some salsa. A can of black beans, and you want to rinse and drain those. And some taco seasoning. I'm using, the recipe called for chili powder, but I chose to use the taco seasoning. I just feel like it has more flavor to this, and I just like that in this type of recipe. So for this, very simple and easy. I'm also going to add some garlic powder, some onion powder to my chicken. I just like to add that extra flavor. So to a bowl, you're going to add the diced tomatoes, and I did drain those off. And then I put the beans that were drained and rinsed, mix it up just a little bit. Then I'm adding the corn, and as I said, you can use whatever type of corn you want. And there's many different types of varieties out there that you can use. Mix it up a little bit. Then I'm adding the bell peppers. And then I'm going to mix that in, and you can see how pretty this dish would be with all the different colors. Now, on the sheet pan that I'm going to save the cheese for later. So I put the chicken breast down on the aluminum foil. I'm also going to spray this, which I did not do yet, but I put it down. I'm adding some garlic powder, and you can add whatever seasonings you want to this, actually. That's completely up to you. And then I'm just adding some onion powder, and you can add pepper or anything, salt if you want. But then I'm taking the taco seasoning, and I'm going to sprinkle it over the top. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the recipe said a half a teaspoon of the chili powder, which I didn't think was enough. So I'm just going to use, I think for each chicken breast. So I'm just using what I feel would go with this. Now I'm going to go ahead and spray that down when I realized I didn't spray it. And then just continue to put the chili powder, not the chili powder, the taco seasoning. If you want to use chili powder, you can. I'm putting that taco seasoning over the other side as well. I'm going to put the garlic powder and the onion powder to season it. And just for me, like I said, I always like to season my meat with different seasonings. And now you're going to take that corn mixture and just put it over the top of the chicken. And if you want to make this easy to eat out of the foil, then I would suggest to cut the pieces of chicken into smaller bite-sized pieces. But then I'm just going to roll this up really tight, and then make sure that the ends are tightly closed. And I'm going to continue to do that for each of the chicken breasts that I have. And once I get all of these foiled up, I'm going to put this in the oven on 350. I'm going to cook it until that chicken is completely done. And it doesn't take that long, really, with the chicken breasts, and they're a little bit thinner. But you want to just make sure that they're completely done, so use a thermometer if you have to. And when they come out, I carefully open up that foil because that steam will burn you. And I put the cheese on top, put it back in the oven for a few minutes just to get the cheese to melt. And as I said, you can put this, on a plate, but you can also eat it out of the foil if you want, if they were like smaller pieces, because I don't like to cut anything on the foil. I don't want to have pieces of foil in my food. So if you cut it up, that would be an easy way to eat this. And I just wanted to show there is chicken under all of that corn and beans and everything. But this was really one we enjoyed. So definitely a healthy option and a really delicious one. This next meal is marinated pork chops, and you can't get much easier than this one. So I just took some pork chops and I marinated it overnight in a Ziploc bag with this Tony Chachere's pork marinade. This is really delicious. So I would definitely do it overnight. I find it gets into the meat a lot, more. And then I also have some more potatoes, and I'm going to add some of this. It's a onion butter seasoning, some garlic powder, just all my go-tos. And I'm adding some minced onions to it as well, so I didn't have to chop any onions up. Just put the pork chop on the foil, and then I'm going to add the potatoes. And I did not parboil these because I thought they were small enough to be cooked with this, but they were not. So that's why I say parboil them no matter what. They were still not completely done. So I did have to put those in the air fryer when I took them out, which was a little disappointing. But the extra step of parboiling the potatoes is a good step to do. And because you don't want to overcook your pork and everything else, and that can dry out, so it's just better to do that ahead. And I put them all onto the sheet pan, put these in the oven on 350. As I said, cook these until the pork chops are done. You want to cook them until your potatoes are tender, but for whatever reason, they just were not cooking for this one. Like I said, I did not parboil them. So when I took them out of the oven, I put them in the air fryer. And you can see here, I plated it up. And this was really a good meal. We really enjoyed the pork chops, really great marinade. And I had some green beans on the side and some potatoes. So really enjoyed this. I think that you will too. And if, like I said, you want to put this and eat it out of the foil pack or do it on the grill, maybe cut the pork chop up into bite-sized pieces. But I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some ideas on some meals you can make during the week. Also, these are great if you want to just do these in a casserole dish or a sheet pan. That's great as well. But like I said, these are just some meals I just chose to make this week, and we really enjoyed them. I hope that your family will too. Thank you so much for watching. I absolutely appreciate each and every single one of you. Hope everyone has a blessed day. God bless y'all.